Have you ever noticed that the very moment your life starts to genuinely improve, your mind feels crystal clear, your relationships begin to truly flourish, or your spirit feels noticeably lighter? Someone close to you, almost as if on cue, suddenly ignites drama or unleashes chaos. What if I told you it's not always just about them and their issues? What if something far darker, something insidious, is strategically using them as a conduit to directly affect you? In this video, I'm going to share 5 chillingly precise ways that demonic forces, yes, I said demons, might be actively working through your friends or even your family to aggressively halt your progress, systematically drain your precious energy, and relentlessly disturb your hard-won peace. These aren't the sensationalized demons of horror movies, but very real, subtle spiritual forces that thrive on and actively cultivate confusion and emotional turmoil. Let me be clear, the goal here is not to assign blame or point fingers. It's about cultivating razor-sharp awareness, using the profound, timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy. I will show you exactly how to shield your soul, fiercely protect your peace, and grow undeniably stronger without ever letting these insidious negative forces seize control of your life. If you have ever felt inexplicably drained, specifically targeted, or consistently blocked by the very people who are supposed to be closest to you, this video was made for you, and make absolutely sure you watch until the very end, because the last sign I'm about to reveal could fundamentally shatter and reshape how you understand everything, perhaps even your very understanding of yourself. Number 1, the calculated targeting of your peace. One of the most profound, insidious, and often heartbreakingly effective ways that negative spiritual forces, often termed demons in frank spiritual discussions, can work against you is by systematically and relentlessly targeting your peace of mind and your emotional stability. This insidious attack happens most often and with alarming precision when you are making genuine, significant progress in your life. Perhaps you've been diligently healing from past wounds, courageously improving your mental health, consciously cultivating better, healthier relationships, or deeply enriching your spiritual practice. Then, suddenly, as if out of nowhere, drama, intense conflict, or a barrage of unexpected problems erupts around you. These disturbances feel like violent, unprovoked storms that crash directly into your newfound calm, threatening to violently undo all the precious growth you have so painstakingly achieved. This is not simply a string of bad luck or a series of unfortunate coincidences. It is a discernible pattern, a deliberate tactic often employed by negative forces acting through people close to you, whether those individuals are consciously aware of it or, more often, acting as unwitting puppets. They intentionally create chaos in your environment because chaos fundamentally unsettles you, throws you off balance, and makes you vulnerable. When your mind is clouded with turmoil and distress, your spiritual growth inevitably stalls, your emotional resilience weakens significantly, and your hard-won ability to maintain inner balance is dangerously compromised. It is precisely here that Stoic philosophy offers timeless, battle-tested wisdom and profoundly practical tools to defend yourself and decisively regain control. The Stoics teach that true, unshakable peace is not something you find passively out in the chaotic world, but something you actively, consciously cultivate deep within yourself. Your inner calm, your inner citadel, is the very foundation of a flourishing, meaningful life, and it absolutely cannot be taken away from you unless you, even unconsciously, allow it. Epictetus, one of the most revered Stoic teachers, famously and powerfully stated, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This single principle is the bedrock of Stoic resilience. While you may not, and often cannot, control the actions or intentions of others, you possess full, unequivocal authority over your own mind and your responses. The first, most crucial step to stopping this insidious attack on your peace is developing acute, unwavering awareness. You must become keenly, almost hyper-aware of when your calm is being disturbed by forces that seem to operate beyond your immediate control or understanding. This means diligently noticing when drama seems to mysteriously surface just as you begin to feel steady and centered, or when conflicts seem to erupt from nowhere, lacking any logical precursor. This awareness allows you to identify that these disruptions are often not about you personally. They are, in fact, symptoms of negative energies desperately trying to break your center, to shatter your peace. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor and profound philosopher, offers a powerful transformative perspective here. He wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. When you truly, deeply realize that your suffering is inextricably tied to your interpretation of events, you empower yourself to consciously change that interpretation, to courageously refuse to be disturbed by external chaos, no matter how intense." The next vital step is cultivating emotional detachment. This is not about fostering coldness or indifference, but rather a calm, objective observation of what is happening around you without getting swept into the vortex of emotional turmoil. Imagine yourself as an unshakable rock in the middle of a raging, stormy sea. The waves crash and roar violently, but the rock remains utterly unmoved, steadfast. Your inner peace is your fortress, and the more you diligently practice this form of detachment, the stronger and more impenetrable your fortress becomes. Setting firm, clear boundaries is also absolutely essential. The Stoics were undisputed masters of discipline and self-mastery. Seneca wisely advised, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." By consciously, even ruthlessly, choosing who you allow into your close energetic proximity, and by decisively limiting your engagement with those who consistently bring disruption and negativity, you fiercely protect your mental and emotional space. Setting these boundaries might mean strategically spending less time with certain people, unequivocally declining to engage in toxic, draining conversations, or clearly and calmly communicating your non-negotiable need for respect and tranquility. Importantly, these boundaries are not walls built from anger, bitterness, or resentment. Instead, they are gates guarded by wisdom, discernment, and even compassion. You are not pushing people away out of hatred or malice, but rather fiercely protecting your soul, your energy, and your sanity, so that you can continue to grow, thrive, and fulfill your unique purpose. Throughout this challenging process, keep returning again and again to your core Stoic values: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These four cardinal virtues serve as your unwavering compass when external chaos relentlessly tries to steer you off your chosen course. Marcus Aurelius powerfully reminds us, "Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears." When you consciously refuse to see yourself as a helpless victim of others' negativity, you instantly reclaim your power. Finally, remember that preserving your peace is an ongoing, dynamic practice, not a one-time achievement. The world will continue to throw challenges at you, and people close to you may, at times, unknowingly become conduits for negative forces. But each and every time you consciously choose calm awareness, practice emotional detachment, implement wise boundaries, and act from a place of virtue, you build a stronger, more resilient inner fortress. In essence, when you sense your precious peace is being deliberately targeted, respond like a true Stoic warrior. See the disturbance with crystal clarity, refuse to react impulsively, set firm but fair boundaries, and hold fast with unwavering determination to your core values. This is the first, most critical step to stopping these demons from insidiously draining your energy and ruthlessly sabotaging your growth. Protect your peace fiercely. It is the sacred foundation of everything truly meaningful in your life. Number 2, unnatural, uncanny knowledge of your deepest weaknesses. One of the most profoundly troubling and deeply unsettling signs that someone close to you may be influenced by negative forces, or more chillingly, acting as a direct conduit for them, is when they seem to possess an unnatural, almost preternatural, almost uncanny knowledge of your deepest, most hidden vulnerabilities. These are not the surface-level flaws or everyday challenges that you might openly share with trusted confidants. These are the private, raw wounds, the secret fears, and the carefully guarded insecurities that you have kept locked away deep within the recesses of your heart. It can feel as if your innermost self, your most vulnerable core, has been violated and exposed without your consent, and that this illicitly gained secret knowledge is now being weaponized against you, whether consciously by the individual or unconsciously through them. This experience can violently shake the very foundation of trust and safety in your most intimate relationships, leaving you feeling terrifyingly exposed, acutely vulnerable, and profoundly confused. From the clear-eyed, unflinching perspective of Stoic philosophy, this deeply disturbing situation calls for a radical, transformative reorientation of how you view both the external event itself and, more importantly, your internal reaction to it. Marcus Aurelius, undeniably one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, powerfully reminds us that the external world, in and of itself, is neutral. It is our judgments, our interpretations that assign meaning, good or bad, threatening or benign, to what happens to us. He wrote with profound insight, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." Sit. This incredibly potent insight means that it is not the mere fact that someone knows or even exploits your vulnerabilities that directly causes your suffering. Rather, it is the judgment you place on that fact, the story you tell yourself about it, and the emotional turmoil you allow it to create and fester within you. When you feel that your most tender vulnerabilities are being cruelly used as weapons against you, it is entirely natural to respond with powerful feelings of betrayal, intense anger, or paralyzing fear. However, the Stoics teach us, with unwavering clarity, that these reactive emotional responses only serve to give more power to the very things we wish to resist and overcome. Epictetus, another towering figure of Stoicism, stated with stark simplicity, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This means that your true, unassailable power lies not in somehow changing the unchangeable fact that your weaknesses have been exposed, but in consciously and completely controlling your own response to that exposure. This, in its purest form, is the very essence of Stoic self-mastery. To develop this profound level of mastery, the Stoics emphasize the absolute necessity of deep, honest, and courageous self-knowledge. Epictetus passionately urges us to first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This means you must first bravely acknowledge your vulnerabilities, not to shamefully hide or defensively deny them, but to understand them fully, compassionately, and comprehensively. When you truly, intimately know your own weaknesses, You are no longer at the mercy of others potentially wielding them as weapons against you. Instead, you courageously integrate these once-feared parts of yourself into a whole, resilient, and authentic identity. Vulnerabilities then cease to be weaknesses and instead become fertile areas for profound growth, deep self-compassion, and unexpected strength. In practical, actionable terms, this means that you must face your inner wounds with unwavering courage. The Stoics call this specific courage Andrea, the virtue of bravery in the face of any adversity, internal or external. By openly acknowledging your fears, your insecurities, and your past hurts, even if only to yourself initially, you begin to take back ownership of them. This act of reclamation dramatically diminishes their power to be used against you because you are no longer hiding them in the shadows, where they can fester and grow. You courageously bring them into the light of your awareness, where they can be understood, processed, and ultimately healed. Alongside this essential courage, the Stoics teach the critical importance of apatheia, a state of profound inner calm and complete freedom from destructive, overwhelming passions. This does not mean becoming numb, detached, or emotionally indifferent in a superficial sense. Rather, it means cultivating a steady, unshakable mind that is not easily thrown off balance by manipulation, provocation, or emotional attack. When someone close to you attempts to exploit your weaknesses, the diligent practice of apatheia allows you to see their actions with crystal clarity without becoming entangled in the paralyzing grip of fear, the consuming fire of anger, or the suffocating depths of despair. You become like a calm, deep sea, reflecting any disturbances on its surface without allowing its profound depths to be stirred into destructive, chaotic waves. Another vital aspect in this defense is the establishment of strong, clear, and consistently enforced boundaries. Seneca, a brilliant Stoic philosopher and influential advisor, wrote with timeless wisdom, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." This powerful teaching underscores the truth that not all relationships are beneficial or conducive to our well-being, and it is therefore profoundly wise to protect your spirit by judiciously limiting contact with those who consistently drain, harm, or manipulate you. Boundaries, in this Stoic context, are not walls built from bitterness or resentment. They are gates meticulously guided by wisdom and self-respect, designed to preserve your precious inner peace and allow for healthy, unimpeded growth. Stoicism also encourages the often difficult but ultimately liberating practice of compassion and, where appropriate, forgiveness toward those who may exploit your vulnerabilities. Marcus Aurelius frequently reminds us that those who cause harm often do so out of their own ignorance, their own pain, or their own deep-seated suffering. Holding on to grudges, resentment, or anger only binds you to the pain and prevents your own freedom and healing. Instead, by consciously choosing to offer compassion, which is not the same as condoning harmful behavior, you break the vicious cycle of harm and powerfully reclaim your own tranquility and emotional sovereignty. Finally, the Stoics teach us to use every single obstacle, every challenge, as a stepping stone toward greater strength, wisdom, and resilience. Marcus Aurelius famously and profoundly stated, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." When your weaknesses are exposed and misused, you face a profound, deeply personal challenge. But this very challenge, when met with Stoic principles, can become the very path that leads you to deeper self-mastery, unshakable inner peace, and a more profound understanding of your own capabilities. Your vulnerabilities, once seen as terrifying liabilities, can transform into the very foundation for extraordinary resilience and authentic strength. In conclusion, the unnatural knowledge of your weaknesses by others becomes truly dangerous only if you allow it to be. By courageously embracing deep self-awareness, diligently cultivating emotional equanimity, setting wise and firm boundaries, practicing heartfelt compassion, and consistently reframing challenges as invaluable opportunities for growth, you take back your power completely. You build an inner fortress so strong that no negative force, no matter how cunning, can ever truly breach it. This is the true, unshakable strength of the Stoic, the profound power to remain utterly unshaken, clear-headed, and purposeful amidst the inevitable storms of life. Number 3, the insidious interference with your spiritual growth, a profoundly subtle yet incredibly potent way that negative forces, often operating insidiously through people close to you, reveal their presence is by actively and systematically interfering with your spiritual growth. This interference might not be obvious, aggressive, or overt. It rarely comes in the form of direct attacks, open hostility, or blatant sabotage. More often, it appears as subtle, almost imperceptible discouragements, casually dismissive comments that sting more than they seem, an onslaught of carefully timed distractions, or even a persistent, passive resistance whenever you genuinely seek to elevate your mind, improve your character, deepen your inner peace, or engage in practices that nourish your soul. These actions, however subtle, create significant, often exhausting, resistance on your chosen path, persistently pulling you away from genuine progress and back into debilitating cycles of anxiety, self-doubt, resentment, or pervasive confusion. The very states of being Stoicism so powerfully seeks to help us overcome. Understanding this insidious interference through the illuminating lens of Stoicism requires us to return to the fundamental purpose of human life, which the Stoics teach is the diligent, lifelong cultivation of virtue and the establishment of profound harmony with nature, reason, and our own highest potential. Marcus Aurelius, in his deeply personal meditations, reflects with profound clarity that the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Your spiritual growth, therefore, is the deliberate, ongoing, and conscious process of refining your thoughts, managing your emotions, and aligning your actions so that they resonate more and more closely with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, the 4 cardinal virtues that form the bedrock of Stoic philosophy. When those closest to you, even if unintentionally, undermine this sacred growth, it is akin to someone repeatedly planting invasive weeds in your carefully, lovingly tended inner garden. They might subtly mock your meditation practice, dismiss your deeply held ethical commitments as naive, idealistic, or extreme, belittle your sincere desire to live a more mindful, conscious life, or consistently create a barrage of distractions that effectively sap your precious time and finite energy. This undermining behavior is often fueled by their own deep-seated discomfort with change, their fear of your evolving independence and growing strength, or perhaps even an unconscious envy of your progress. While their interference might not always stem from outright malice, the effect on you is undeniably the same. A significant disturbance in your tranquility, a noticeable slowing or stalling of your progress toward virtue, and a general sense of being held back or pulled down. Yet, the Stoics powerfully remind us that your spiritual journey is a deeply personal, non-negotiable responsibility. Epictetus teaches us, with uncompromising clarity, no man is free who is not master of himself. True freedom, genuine peace, and lasting fulfillment come not from the approval or validation of others, but from your own hard-won mastery over your mind, your emotions, and your character. Interference from others, no matter how close they are to you or how influential they may seem, only has power over you if you consciously or unconsciously grant it that power. Your inner citadel, the impregnable fortress of your mind, must remain steadfastly impervious to external disruptions and manipulations. To maintain and strengthen this inner fortress, the Stoics prescribe several powerful, time-tested practices. First, diligently cultivate the discipline of apatheia, or profound emotional equanimity. This is not about becoming cold, detached, or indifferent in a superficial or uncaring sense. Instead, it is about rigorously training yourself to remain undisturbed and unperturbed by destructive passions, external opinions, or manipulative tactics that seek to distract, derail, or discourage you from your chosen path. When someone attempts to belittle your spiritual practices, question your sincere intentions, or undermine your efforts, observe their words and actions with calm detachment, without absorbing the emotional charge or internalizing their negativity. Powerfully remind yourself that external events and the opinions of others are ultimately beyond your direct control. But your response, your interpretation, and your inner state always remain your sovereign choice. Next, consciously develop a healthy Stoic indifference toward the opinions, behaviors, and judgments of others that do not actively contribute to your virtue or align with your core values. Marcus Aurelius wisely advises, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth. However, if their interference is simply noise, distraction, or negativity designed to pull you off course, treat it as utterly irrelevant to your journey. Your unwavering focus must remain on what is good, what is true, and what is genuinely within your power to influence and cultivate." Boundary setting is an absolutely essential tool in this ongoing process of self-protection and spiritual growth. Seneca wisely counsels, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." This profound guidance means that part of your spiritual protection involves discerning, with honesty and courage, when certain relationships become consistently harmful or detrimental to your growth. When you identify those individuals who consistently pull you away from your path, drain your energy, or undermine your efforts, it is not only acceptable, but absolutely necessary to strategically limit your engagement with them. This does not necessarily mean cutting people off in bitterness or anger, but rather consciously and mindfully managing your exposure to negativity in order to preserve your precious peace and protect your spiritual trajectory. Another potent source of strength and resilience comes from intentionally seeking out and cultivating supportive communities, mentors, or like-minded individuals who embody the virtues you aspire to cultivate within yourself. Stoicism highly values fellowship and connection with those who encourage excellence, wisdom, and mutual growth. Marcus Aurelius himself often reflects on the profound importance of being among people who inspire virtue and uplift the spirit. Such positive, affirming relationships create a powerful feedback loop that reinforces your progress, bolsters your resolve, and provides essential resilience against those who might seek to interfere or hold you back. Moreover, Stoicism teaches a radical and empowering perspective that adversity and obstacles, including interference from others, are often opportunities in disguise. Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, with enduring wisdom, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Every attempt to disrupt your spiritual growth, every challenge to your resolve, can be viewed as a valuable test of your commitment, your character, and your inner strength. When you face these trials with patience, perseverance, clarity, and a calm, centered mind, your virtue deepens, your wisdom expands, and your resilience becomes truly formidable. You become stronger, wiser, and more unshakable with each challenge successfully navigated. Finally, anchor your growth firmly in the consistent practice of deep reflection and diligent journaling, just as Marcus Aurelius himself did throughout his demanding life. Regularly review the challenges you encounter, analyze how you respond to them, and honestly assess your alignment with Stoic principles. Ask yourself what invaluable lessons can be drawn from these experiences and how you might better align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your highest values moving forward. This continuous, honest self-examination keeps you acutely aware of subtle interferences, reinforces your commitment to your path, and ensures that your progress remains intentional, steady, and deeply fulfilling. In conclusion, interference with your spiritual growth is a quiet, often insidious, but incredibly powerful method through which negative forces may seek to destabilize you, drain your motivation, and divert you from your purpose. Through the illuminating and empowering lens of Stoicism, you are fully equipped to recognize this interference without fear, to respond with profound wisdom and unshakable calm, to establish firm but compassionate boundaries, to seek out and nurture supportive connections, and most importantly, to transform every single challenge into a potent stepping stone for virtue and inner strength. This unwavering dedication to your inner development is the surest, most powerful protection for your peace, your purpose, and your soul in a world inevitably filled with distractions, resistance, and negativity. Number 4. The soul-crushing impact of energy draining, a powerful, pervasive, and often tragically overlooked sign that someone close to you may be influenced by negative forces or acting as an unwitting channel for them, is the profound and debilitating way they consistently drain your vital energy. Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually as well. After spending time in their presence, or even just interacting with them briefly, you don't feel refreshed, uplifted, or supported. Instead, you feel utterly exhausted, overwhelmingly depleted, and spiritually hollowed out in a way that goes far beyond ordinary tiredness or a busy day. This deep, penetrating fatigue can cloud your mind, dull your emotions, erode your motivation, and rob you of the precious inner calm and clarity you've worked so diligently to cultivate and maintain. The Stoics, with their profound understanding of human nature, recognized energy, what we might today call vital force, life power, or even chi, to be one of the most precious, finite, and essential resources we possess. Seneca, with his characteristic insight, famously stated, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." When negative, draining people consistently siphon off your energy, they are, in effect, stealing your invaluable time, diminishing your capacity to engage with life meaningfully, and hindering your ability to pursue your highest purpose. Their very presence, or even the thought of interacting with them, can distract you from your higher aspirations, insidiously weaken your resolve, and make it significantly more difficult to practice the core Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance in your daily life. People who chronically drain your energy often do so by constantly creating, amplifying, or reveling in drama. They may incessantly complain without seeking solutions, relentlessly demand emotional support and validation without offering any reciprocity, or consistently provoke conflicts and arguments that deliberately pull you into a vortex of emotional chaos and mental distress. Sometimes they skillfully cast themselves as perpetual victims, expertly playing on your empathy and compassion, while offering little or nothing positive in return. Their energetic signature can feel like a consuming black hole, powerfully drawing you in, absorbing your light, and leaving you feeling utterly hollowed out, depleted, and diminished afterward. After these draining interactions, your mind might feel foggy and unfocused, your heart heavy with unspoken burdens, and your spirit profoundly weary and disheartened. From a Stoic point of view, fiercely protecting your energy is not just advisable, it is absolutely fundamental to living a virtuous and fulfilling life. While you cannot directly control how others behave, think, or feel, you can, and indeed must, control how you respond to them and how you manage your own internal state. Epictetus powerfully reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By mastering your responses, by choosing not to internalize their negativity, and by refusing to get drawn into their dramas, you effectively prevent others' toxicity from invading and contaminating your sacred inner citadel. You must strive to become like an impregnable fortress, strong, centered, and unmoved, with clearly defined and consistently enforced boundaries that keep harmful, draining influences decisively at bay. One eminently practical Stoic approach to effectively managing energy drain is to strategically and consciously limit your exposure to these draining individuals. This might mean making deliberate choices to spend less physical time with them. Or, if complete avoidance isn't feasible, interacting with them only in structured, time-limited ways that minimize the potential for emotional depletion and energetic entanglement. You do not owe anyone unlimited, unconditional access to your precious time, your vital energy, or your emotional resources. Protecting your energy is not selfish. It is an essential act of self-care, profound self-respect, and absolutely necessary for fulfilling your higher purpose and maintaining your well-being. Active emotional detachment is another key, powerful strategy in your Stoic toolkit. Instead of reacting emotionally, getting defensive, or trying to fix their complaints, drama, or incessant demands, practice observing them with a sense of calm, objective acceptance, without internalizing their negativity or allowing it to disturb your inner peace. Imagine yourself as a serene, deep lake. Surface ripples may appear due to external disturbances, but the profound depths remain utterly undisturbed and tranquil. This powerful mental image can help you maintain equanimity and effectively prevent the emotional storms of others from flooding and overwhelming your own carefully cultivated peace. Consistently and intentionally recharging your own energy is equally, if not more, important. The Stoics emphasized the value of daily practices such as focused meditation, reflective journaling, invigorating physical exercise, and deep, conscious breathing techniques to strengthen, renew, and restore both the mind and the body. Marcus Aurelius himself, despite the immense pressures of ruling an empire, diligently kept a journal, reflecting each day on his challenges, his responses, and his victories, which undoubtedly helped him maintain his extraordinary mental and emotional resilience. Prioritize these restorative practices, especially after exposure to draining situations or individuals, to replenish your inner resources and fortify your spirit. Furthermore, be exceptionally intentional and discerning about the company you keep. Seneca astutely advises, associate with those who will make a better man of you. Consciously surround yourself with people who uplift, inspire, energize, and genuinely support you. Those who encourage your growth, share your core values, and contribute positively to your life. Your environment, including the people within it, has a profound and undeniable influence on your inner state. When you intentionally surround yourself with positive, affirming influences, you build a strong, resilient support system that effectively buffers you against negativity and helps you maintain your energetic integrity. Finally, Recognize that persistent energy draining can, in some instances, be a subtle yet potent form of spiritual attack on your very purpose and vitality. It threatens not only your emotional well-being and mental clarity, but also your fundamental ability to pursue virtue, cultivate tranquility, and live a life aligned with your deepest values. By consistently applying Stoic wisdom, by consciously controlling your reactions, by setting firm and unwavering boundaries, by diligently practicing emotional detachment, by intentionally replenishing your inner resources, and by deliberately choosing uplifting and supportive companions, you powerfully protect your energy. This vital protection allows you to remain strong, clear-minded, deeply peaceful, and fully equipped to face life's inevitable challenges with unwavering courage, profound wisdom, and unshakable resilience. Number 5. The overwhelming onslaught of coordinated attacks. One of the most distressing, disorienting, and complex signs that you may be facing significant negative spiritual influence operating through your friends or family is when multiple people, whether consciously colluding or unconsciously synchronized, appear to come together in a seemingly coordinated, almost orchestrated way to disrupt your peace, sabotage your goals, and undermine your very purpose. This deeply unsettling phenomenon, which can be termed coordinated attacks, can feel like a sudden, overwhelming, and inescapable storm hitting your life from all conceivable sides. It might manifest as a barrage of simultaneous criticism from different individuals, a web of subtle or overt emotional manipulation, the deliberate sabotage of your important projects or aspirations, or a concerted interference in your significant relationships and your spiritual progress. The cumulative impact of such attacks can leave you feeling profoundly isolated, utterly confused, terrifyingly vulnerable, and as if unseen, malevolent forces beyond your direct control are methodically closing in on you. The Stoics, with their profound understanding of human suffering and resilience, teach us a radical and empowering perspective. That life's most daunting difficulties are not insurmountable obstacles, but rather invaluable opportunities for profound growth, the forging of unshakable character, and the cultivation of deep resilience. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and a Roman emperor who faced immense challenges, wrote with enduring wisdom in his Meditations, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This powerful, transformative insight means that even the harshest, most painful external challenges, including the experience of coordinated attacks, can become the very means by which you develop profound virtue, unyielding strength, and deep, experiential wisdom. These relentless attacks, in essence, test your ability to remain steadfast, centered, and true to your deepest values despite the surrounding chaos and intense external pressure. The first, most crucial step in effectively facing coordinated attacks is cultivating clear, unwavering awareness, recognizing the discernible pattern of negativity without succumbing to paralyzing fear, debilitating despair, or consuming anger. It is profoundly important to understand that those individuals involved in such attacks are often unaware of the larger, negative spiritual forces they might be unconsciously channeling or amplifying. Their actions may arise from their own unresolved pain, deep-seated jealousy, crippling insecurity, pervasive confusion, or even a misguided sense of righteousness. It is not necessary, nor is it helpful, to hate or resent them. Rather, you must strive to maintain a stance of detached compassion while firmly, unequivocally, and consistently protecting yourself. Epictetus powerfully reminds us, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well." This radical acceptance of the situation as it is, rather than as you wish it were, allows you to maintain your precious inner peace and invaluable mental clarity, even in the midst of a storm. Central to the profound wisdom of Stoicism is the concept of prohairesis, our innate, uniquely human power of conscious choice, rational judgment, and deliberate response. No matter how chaotic, threatening, or overwhelming the external environment becomes, you always, without exception, retain sovereign control over your internal response. When faced with the onslaught of coordinated attacks, exercise this incredible power deliberately, consciously, and strategically. Avoid reacting impulsively, emotionally, or defensively, as this only serves to give more power to the attackers and further entangles you in their negativity. Instead, pause. Breathe deeply, reflect rationally, and respond with carefully considered reason, unshakable calm, and unwavering integrity. Ask yourself these critical questions. What, in this exact moment, is truly within my control? How can I best uphold my core values and fiercely protect my inner peace amidst this turmoil? Setting firm, clear, and non-negotiable boundaries is absolutely essential when facing such attacks. Coordinated attacks often emanate from people who chronically overstep boundaries, aggressively invade your mental or emotional space, or consistently drag you into unnecessary, draining conflicts. The Stoics teach that protecting your inner citadel, your mind, your spirit, and your emotional well-being is a paramount, non-negotiable priority. This might mean decisively limiting or even temporarily severing contact with certain individuals, firmly refusing to engage in certain types of conversations or arguments, or strategically seeking solitude and quiet reflection to regain your composure, clarity, and strength. Seneca wisely advises, begin at once to live and count each separate day as a separate life. Forts. Use each day as a fresh start, an opportunity to refocus on what truly matters to you, and to diligently rebuild your strength, resilience, and inner peace. In addition to establishing robust boundaries, seek refuge, wisdom, and support in wise, trusted, and genuinely supportive allies. Stoicism, contrary to some misconceptions, deeply values authentic friendship and supportive community when chosen with discernment and wisdom. Having even a few supportive individuals in your life who share your core values, understand your journey, and consistently encourage your growth can provide invaluable perspective, much-needed balance, and profound emotional support during such trying times. They can help remind you of your true self, your inherent strength, and your core values when a multitude of negative voices may be trying to pull you away, confuse you, or diminish you. Another profoundly powerful Stoic practice, particularly relevant during times of intense challenge, is dedicated daily reflection and consistent journaling. Marcus Aurelius, as a daily discipline, wrote to himself, reinforcing his commitment to virtue, reason, and equanimity despite the immense external trials he faced as an emperor. Diligently reflect on your experiences, consciously recognize the invaluable lessons hidden within adversity, and consistently reinforce your unwavering commitment to your spiritual path and your core principles. This steady, unwavering practice significantly strengthens your inner resolve, fortifies your spirit, and makes you far less vulnerable to the insidious effects of coordinated negativity. Remember, always, that enduring and ultimately overcoming coordinated attacks builds profound, unshakable resilience. Just as physical muscles grow stronger through consistent resistance and challenge, your character, your wisdom, and your inner strength are forged and refined through the crucible of adversity. Each and every time you face coordinated negativity with courage, wisdom, clarity, and unwavering adherence to your values, you deepen your ability to maintain profound peace, unwavering purpose, and unshakable equanimity in an often turbulent and unpredictable world. In conclusion, coordinated attacks from friends, family, or acquaintances may feel overwhelmingly painful, confusing, and even terrifying, but through the clear, empowering lens of Stoic philosophy, they are revealed as profound challenges that can be courageously transformed into invaluable opportunities for deep, lasting growth and self-mastery. By diligently cultivating awareness, consistently exercising disciplined judgment, decisively setting firm boundaries, intentionally nurturing trusted and supportive relationships, and engaging in regular, honest daily reflection, you effectively shield your precious peace, protect your vital energy, and continue your sacred spiritual journey undeterred, stronger, and wiser. This is the true path of the Stoic warrior: calm, resilient, wise, and unshakable, no matter the intensity of the storm. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the 5 ways to recognize and effectively counter demonic influences that may be operating through your friends and family, all viewed through the empowering lens of Stoic philosophy. Remember, awareness is always the first, most critical step. Once you can see these insidious patterns with crystal clarity, you gain the inherent power to fiercely protect your peace and profoundly strengthen your spirit. Life will inevitably always bring challenges, trials, and tribulations, but armed with Stoic wisdom, you can face them all calmly, confidently, and with unshakable integrity. If this video brought you valuable insight, a new perspective, or actionable tools, please show your support by hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with others who might greatly benefit from this knowledge. I genuinely invite you to comment below with your thoughts, your experiences, or any questions you may have. Let's continue to grow together in wisdom, resilience, and shared understanding. Until next time, stay strong, stay peaceful, and keep walking the noble path of virtue with courage and conviction.